It's a new year and a new chance for you to make a fresh start with your compliance. For the next 31 days on the FCPA Compliance Report, we're going to be bringing you a daily tip, strategy, or idea that you can use to improve your program. Here's your host, Tom Fox, the Compliance Evangelist.
Specific benefits of an internal reporting system, a case study. Is your hotline working for you? In an article, José Tabuena provided an excellent example of the power of a hotline. He provided a case study of a company which had not integrated its IT function into its regular compliance and ethics training program. As such, there were 0 calls into the hotline by IT employees. This dynamic was changed, and IT was integrated into the company's regular ethics and compliance training. Thereafter, the hotline received several calls from IT employees indicating there were 2 major areas of concern. The first was regarding family members who were hired and the perceptions of favoritism. The second related to allegations that certain managers were maximizing, or rather manipulating, data to maximize their bonus. The favoritism problem. HR led an investigation that included questioning of all IT managers about their direct reports and employees of their units. The company determined there was only one instance of a manager hiring a family member, was a brother-in-law, but that person did not report to the manager and was in a different section of the IT organization. This finding made clear that there were misperceptions in the IT department, which affected the department morale. Because always remember your inner Andre Agassi, perception is reality. To remedy this, all IT managers received training on appropriate employment practices, and communications were delivered to all IT employees explaining policies and practices regarding the hiring of family members. Most satisfyingly, during follow-up with callers to the helpline, the caller stated that the work environment in the IT department had noticeably improved. They also expressed gratitude that their questions were answered and that their issues were addressed. The companies felt their concerns were taken seriously when they saw the communications on hiring practices, and upon having discussions with managers during staff meetings, staff retention started improving in the IT department. Manipulation of data for bonuses. The company used the hotline to obtain more information from the callers on isolating the metrics and the managers in question. It was determined that the bonuses of a select few IT managers were indeed influenced by questionable data sources, which was controlled by a non-manager with minimal oversight and controls. Following interviews with key employees and review of the data file, including forensic analysis, it was determined that one IT manager had misrepresented information provided to the staff person maintaining the data. Notably, this staff person reported to this manager. As a result, the IT manager's bonus compensation was inflated. He was subsequently terminated. This case study provides 3 key tenets of an effective internal reporting system. First, a hotline or helpline is of no value if the workforce is unaware of it. Although a helpline was in place, it became apparent that a segment of the company had not been informed about this. It was the hotline data that revealed this gap. By reviewing data segmented by region, department, incident clarification, and other criteria, it became obvious in comparison to the rest of the organization that the IT department had not used the helpline. Second, the Ethics and Compliance Office obtained support from the Chief Information Officer for making IT a part of the helpline community and designating a liaison with the IT function. The support of the department leadership likely influenced the success of the training and communication delivered by the ethics and compliance staff. Third, the awareness of the helpline is not sufficient to ensure its success. The company made sure that issues and allegations were addressed and investigated. Employees who chose not to report wrongdoing indicate a belief that nothing will be done anyway, so why take the risk? Employees also cited the fear of retaliation as a reason for not reporting. This case study demonstrates the power of a hotline. The company's compliance function established the credibility of the hotline as a resource to raise issues and report misconduct. The concerns regarding nepotism and conflicts of interest were taken seriously, and although the violations were not as widespread as the calls indicated, the review went a long way to clear the air. Equally importantly, the helpline provided proved to be a successful management tool as well. The company was able to manage potential compliance issues and improve employee morale. So what are today's 3 key takeaways? I cite this entire case study because I wanted to give you information about the power of a helpline for the compliance practitioner. Here we had solid information coming to the compliance function, but that information, it turned out, was not 110% correct. This is particularly true around the conflict of interest and nepotism issue. It also shows the power of a hotline to not simply stop a violation, whether that be the violation of company codes, policies, and procedures, and legal violations, but also to stop misperceptions and misconceptions which can destroy morale in the company. This conflict of interest and employee nepotism issue was really damaging the morale of the IT department, yet through the use of the hotline, through the use of investigations, through the use of the entire hotline reporting system as laid out by Dr. Welch, it's clear that these misperceptions and misconceptions were cleared up, and they were cleared up in a way that improved employee morale and affected retention rates. So it really doesn't get much better than that for an impact on companies. Number 2, simply because you have no hotline complaints does not mean you do not have a compliance or ethics issue which needs review and resolution. This was really driven home in this case study because there was a hole in the hotline function, in the hotline department, in the IT function utilizing the hotline. You should slice and dice your hotline reports in various ways. And then finally, it also shows the need for adequate follow-up and why that's part of the overall effectiveness of a reporting system. It's not simply having a hotline, it's what you do after the information comes in. So I hope this case study has proven helpful to you. This is Tom Fox. I hope you will enjoy this month's offering on hotlines and investigations. 31 Days to a More Effective Compliance Program. If I could ask you to do, would you pass on to at least one person this podcast series on the nuts and bolts of compliance as I'm trying to expand my audience base for 31 Days to a More Effective Compliance Program. I hope you'll join me again tomorrow where I take up another topic in innovation in compliance. Thanks again for listening. 31 Days to a More Effective Compliance Program is a production of the Compliance Podcast Network.
This podcast is a part of the C-Suite Radio Network. For more top business podcasts, visit c-suiteradio.com.